Welcome back to Teachers Help Teachers. I'm your host, Esther Yun, and with me is one of my favorite people in the world. She is one of the smartest people that I know and I trust. And I am so glad to call her one of my colleagues and also a very good friend of mine, Danielle Awad. Welcome to Teachers Help Teachers.
Hi, Esther.
Hi, Danielle. She is a second grade teacher. She and I teach at the same public school. And she's here to talk to us more about this really useful platform called Seesaw. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you, Esther. And thank you for the introduction.
It's the truth, girl. I mean, and one more little fun fact about Danielle, she's beast mode when it comes to running. She and I ran the LA Conquer series, which included the LA Marathon, and her time was just mind blowing. Like, yeah, she waited for me for like an hour for me to finish my marathon. So thank you, Danielle, for being here. And Danielle, will you tell us more about Seesaw? What is it?
Yeah, Seesaw is a really great platform for students. It's really easy for them to use. And I mean, really simply, it's a way for them to share their work with me. Prior to distance learning, it was a way that they could share their work with their classmates too. Now that we're on distance learning, the platform has changed a little bit. So it mainly for me is a way that I can see the physical work that they're doing, and then I can send them comments and feedback so that they can kind of keep on top of their work a little and know where they stand.
That's great. So show us how easy it is to use. Will you go through some features and functions, maybe even some settings that might help us out?
Yeah, I'll pull it up on my screen.
Thank you.
So when you first go to Seesaw, you'll come to this page, and for teachers, you'll go to the I'm a Teacher. And then you can create your account, you can sign in. I connect it to my Google, so I just sign in through Google. And so once I'm in, I have this stream on the left-hand side that's just all my student work. That's as they're posting it, it's coming up here. But on the right-hand side, I can also look student by student at what they're sending to me. So I can see if I want to know what a specific student turned in, I can find their name in this list. I can click on them. We'll click on my makeup account. And then I can see just their work specifically. And if
wow, that looks like a video that you
so what I did, I was demonstrating how it works for my parents. And so I posted a picture. You can, when students post their picture, they can decorate it and type on it and add pictures. So I showed how to put in a text box, and then I recorded myself.
I can record myself reading my work.
Nice.
So I recorded myself so that parents could see that students also have that function. And then with that picture, students can then go back and look and see if I've left them any comments. I can like it. I can download them and save them onto my computer if I needed to. Now with distance learning, students aren't able to see their classmates' work because of privacy. But when we were in class, they would have access to that stream here. And so they would have been able to see all of this and to see what their classmates were posting.
Okay.
And then some features that I haven't really used, but that could be helpful. There's this inbox feature where I could send student announcements if I wanted to. So I'm using Google Classroom as my main way of communicating with students and assigning work. But for younger students, or even if I had just reconfigured my remote learning plan a little bit, I could have used Seesaw for almost everything, where I can send student announcements of check out this website, or here's what your work is for today. You can also connect families and then use it as a way to communicate with families too, but that's also not a feature I've used yet.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I noticed that green button ad. I've used Seesaw myself
Mhm.
in class, and the way I instructed my students on the function, on its function is green means, and I teach little guys, first graders. Um, I always say to them, green means go, or green means add.
Mhm.
If you want anything to post or for me to look at, always look for that green button, whether it's the add button or the check button. Is that still true?
It is. I think if I do this, it takes me through like as a sample student to do it. But I taught my kids the same way. I said, use the green plus to send it to me. And honestly, like they caught on with this so fast. They know the platform better than I do. It took me like 5 minutes to teach them in class, where I had them log on, and I told them to click the green button. I told them about a couple features, and then they figured out all the other features on their own. So they just needed to know where to start, and this green add button is where to start. I don't know. I think this is what comes up for students when they click on it. They don't have the other options. And for the most part, they're sending me photos. And
Yes.
so then they have the photo feature. They can take a picture of their work. When they're done with the picture,
Yes.
a lot of them choose to draw on it, which you can see in this example here. They like all the drawing features. They can put like little stickers and stuff on it.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah.
So how do, well, actually you did mention how you use it, but what what are the benefits to this platform Seesaw versus, let's say you did mention Google Class. So let's compare the pros and cons to Seesaw, especially for primary students
Yeah.
versus Google Class. What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons?
I think the biggest benefit is just how easy it is to use. Like once students have the app downloaded, have their home learning code, which is their way to log on through distance learning,
Yes.
it's really intuitive to use. It's really easy to use. Another benefit is that I can keep track of student written work, because in second grade, it's still so important for them to be writing out their math, writing out sentences, using a paper and a pencil. And
Yeah.
with Google Classroom and other apps similar to that, like Schoology even, it's a lot harder for students to be able to do the paper pencil work and then share it with me.
Yes.
It's a lot more, for adults it's intuitive, but kids don't know how to attach a file. They don't know where to find a file to begin with. But with Seesaw, it's all embedded in here. They don't need to save a file onto a device and then upload it and send it. Like they don't need to know how to use email or anything. It's really, once they can get on the app, everything is really simple and straightforward. And so that's why I really like it and why I'm using it coupled with Google Classroom, because I don't want all of my student work to be typed on a computer from here on out. I still have students that are working on constructing sentences, and I want them to be doing that on a piece of paper.
So I think I'm hearing you say that Seesaw would be very appropriate to our younger students, K through second, maybe even K through third.
I would say K through third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And for older students, there are other ways that it could be used too, where students are elaborating more on their work and on their reasoning. Like for example, if you had a math talk posted in Seesaw and you wanted students to talk through their work, that's something that you can do K through 12. It's just, there are so many other benefits for K through 3 that the kids are able to still access this digital learning and share their digital work without having to be really computer savvy.
Yes, and I could see how this platform really encourages independence among our young students, where I'm highly interested, because for me, I have to lean on my parents to take photos of their students and then upload it onto an email account that's the parents' email, so that I can get it. Where if I used Seesaw, there's a direct line between my students and me, and therefore there's a bit more independence and responsibility built in for the student, for the young student. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we get started? What do we do?
So the first thing is to create an account. So you would go back to that screen where I logged in. Here, let me log back out. So from this screen, you'll go to I'm a teacher, and then you'll have to click create an account and fill it in, or you can sign up with Google Class, or with not Google Classroom, but with Google. And with LAUSD, that's really easy because all of our emails are already linked to Google.
Yes.
So it'll automatically connect to your single sign-on and all of that.
Excellent. And I will, teachers, I will post the link to this website so you can sign up if you're highly interested and you want to get started with your class. So Danielle, before we wrap things up, can you share what one activity or lesson that worked for you through Seesaw, using Seesaw?
So what I've been doing for the most part with Seesaw is just having my students post to that stream, and it's just like a formative check for me. I want to see if it's math, I want to see if they're grasping the concept, if there's something we need to work on more or elaborate a little bit more. With phonics, sometimes I just want to make sure they're doing the work. So if it's like a little worksheet, I'm not necessarily going to look at it for correctness. I'm just going to see, are they doing their work, and keep them accountable that way.
Sure.
But as I've explored the platform a little bit more, I'm finding more ways to use it. And right now I'm having my students finish up their first writing since we went remote learning.
Okay.
And so they're all on their first drafts right now, and then we're going to finalize them over the course of this week. And I want them to set them up or submit them through Seesaw. And I actually took this assignment from Seesaw. So they had all of the template already done, and I just personalized it a little bit for my students. But what they'll do when they log into the app, instead of being in the journal section, they'll click over to activities, and a little red badge will show up saying that they have an activity assigned.
Oh, all right.
And then they'll click add response here to add their response. There are instructions that are written out, and the really cool thing about the instructions is they have pictures of the icons that students will be clicking as they go through adding their response. And there's instructions that have been recorded. So I really just took this from Seesaw. I didn't have to set any of it up, but they give you the tools to put in those little icons if you want to make your own instructions, and then you can record yourself reading through the instructions for students to listen to them. And especially, like, I still have some kids who wouldn't be able to read through these instructions independently and fully comprehend them. So being able to listen to the instructions is a really big benefit for that K through 3 span.
Yes, definitely.
And the reason why I want their narrative up on Seesaw instead of posted in Google Classroom is two main reasons. One is I want to see it handwritten. I don't want it typed.
Okay.
We've practiced our typing, but I want to see what they're doing with their own hand Hopefully that also means that there's less parent involvement. I want to know what they're doing independently.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is, after they've taken a picture of their work and put it, added it into their response, they're then going to record themselves reading over it.
I love
So
that.
I'll be able to hear their voice go through the writing, which for anyone who teaches primary,
Yes.
the secret benefit of that is that if I have no idea what they're writing, because I can't read it, they're telling me what they're writing.
Yes.
And then there's also, there's a whole lot of reasons why it's important to hear students read their own writing. And one of them is, if my students are saying something that's not written down, that's a red flag.
Hmm.
There's something there. So it'll give me a lot more information than if I just had them post it and send it to me via email or via Google Classroom.
I completely see that. I understand. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
And then just one more last thing on activities.
Yes.
If you go to add as a teacher and click assign activity, you'll be able to have access to Seesaw's activity library. And there's a lot of really great stuff in here. You can organize it by grade, by subject. And so I really want to try this math one.
Subjects?
On subjects?
Yes. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. That's terrific.
So there's a lot of stuff already up there. It doesn't all have to be created from scratch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Danielle, thank you so much for this overview of Seesaw, and another platform that we can definitely use, try during this time of remote learning. And also when we do go back to our classrooms, it is a resource, an app that we can definitely use to enhance our instruction. So thank you again, Danielle, for your time and knowledge, and I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Esther.
You have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.